You're listening to Two Chunks and a Hunk, a movie podcast where we give pumps and dumps.
Hello and welcome to Two Chunks and a Hunk. My name is Jordan Wonders, and this week I am your chunk.
I'm Doge, and close your eyes, shut your mouth, chunk a chunk and get us out. Chunk, 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 chunk.
And I'm Carter. Don't despair, step right up. Glass of water? Here's a cup. Hunk, 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 hunk.
Did you actually have that planned?
Yeah, for sure.
That makes me deeply happy. Carter,
Why?
why? Why are you the hunk?
I'm the hunk because of my bowels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Expand.
You guys were having to wait a little longer because I was having a bowel movement.
You were doing a poop.
I like this kind of direction for our show. Like, we're kind of like the Larry the Cable Guy of podcasts.
Yeah, we're
now.
just getting real nasty with
Just
our bathroom
so
jokes.
blue. With the Blue Collar Podcast Tour, everyone.
Jeff, get at me.
You might be a podcast host if you'd like to make poopy jokes.
That was, I don't know. I figured poop jokes need banjo.
Yeah, that was from Jeff Foxworthy's tour with Steve Martin.
As long as the sound ends with a bop, it's always a banjo.
Here's your side.
You can do any like, and that's a banjo. You know it is.
So is Yoshi legally a banjo then?
Right. I was going to say underwater turkey. But man, with just as wild and all over the place as our intro is, it kind of goes along with the theme, doesn't it?
It sure does. Because today we're talking about a movie called The Adventures of Sharkboy and Lavagirl 3D.
A movie I never thought we'd review.
Oh, I knew from the beginning.
What series are we in? In case people have taken a break from us while we're talking about those vampire and wolf movies, what series is this?
This is the first movie of our new series. Thanks a lot. The life and times of karate legend turned BK master, Taylor Lautner.
And I'm going to detail in on the BK thing. One of the early Twilight episodes, we talked about his bio. It was a fan-written bio about Taylor Lautner. And basically, he started with musical weapons. He was a karate master. And actually, we're starting to see...
Legitimately,
he's pretty impressive. Like, he won
very good.
world championships and things like that.
I still can't wrap my mind around musical weapons.
I can't either.
I think it's a weapon category. And we see, because it's like, it's not like he's hitting people with trumpets. Like, I think there's some weapons that are called musical weapons, but it's like
because it flows like water.
Yeah, I think there's like a choreography element to it. If you know about martial
water's
arts,
like music.
It's like jazz.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it is.
It's the space in between the weapons. That's where the music
sweet
is.
Science.
We're going to make a lot of Burger King comments, and that is because
that's why
Taylor Lautner's first ever try at acting was for a Burger King commercial, and they said no.
Yeah, and his second ever try at acting was the rest of his career.
Pretty much. Because parents just got up and left wherever they lived in Michigan.
Grand Rapids.
Now, Doge, do you have something wrapped up with a nice little bow for me? Do you have something? Do you have a gift for me?
How do you synopsize a movie like this?
Do you have something to give me?
I sure do.
Mushrooms are bad. Like, that's the synopsis. Don't eat mushrooms.
Robert Rodriguez should not be allowed to make movies anymore. That's the synopsis.
He did, though.
This one is pretty tough to synopsize, just being honest, because it's all over the place.
Right.
What?
So
no, it's
I'm just going to go with
consistent.
I'm just going to go with the classic one-sentence tagline.
Ooh.
A young boy is recruited by his imaginary friends Sharkboy and Lavagirl to help save their planet. Do we need much more than that?
No.
Okay, because this is paper thin, but it's paper thin in 3 glorious dimensions.
3 wonderful dimensions. I did appreciate that the movie told me to put my goggles on.
That was the craziest thing.
I actually remember when you went to go see this movie in theaters, which I did, when it first came out, that the 3D goggles were the goggles that they were wearing. The boy and girl goggles.
So have you ever had that thing happen to you where you're the right age for a movie and like it comes out and it's a big thing and you're like, yeah, I'm going to go see that. And then your friends go see it and then they talk to you about it at recess and over time you become convinced that you have seen the movie. That is my story.
You didn't see this?
I had never seen this until earlier this week.
Oh, dude.
Whenever I watched it for this podcast,
I hadn't seen it either.
I was thoroughly convinced that I had seen it at some point in my life, though.
I bet I've watched this movie 10 times.
Until I sat down and started watching it, and I was like, wait, I think I only remember things from the trailers.
Yeah. This movie hit at the exact right time for me to be kind of interested in it. And then after I saw it, my interest waned. My brother came up and was like, this is the one. This is the movie. So we used to watch this a good bit.
So what was your reaction to it as a kid? And I don't want to get too deep into our reaction to it now, but at the time that this was for you and you were the right age, do you remember what your perception of it was?
I think I still felt like it was a worse Spy Kids.
Yeah.
But I think I thought it was fun. You know, I think that it was superhero adjacent, which was enough for me at the time. So I mean, I don't think I walked away with any overly negative emotions about it. Callie had never seen it. That was a trip.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about watching this for the first time as a grown adult.
Yeah,
it's like
I wish I could.
Man.
I wish I could. I mean, because I even had some very visceral reactions to it while I was watching, because I had forgotten almost everything from this movie. But like, I wish I could wipe my memory and watch it for the first time now with 24-year-old brain.
Interesting going in as a blank slate.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly.
Let's hop on our lava bikes then and start trucking right through.
Okay.
I forgot to dream of gas.
Gosh. Okay. How does this movie begin?
This movie begins just as any movie does, with a voiceover.
The quote at the beginning of this movie was almost my super dump. You can't.
What?
No
way! It was amazing.
You can't put a quote at the beginning of your movie
From later in your movie.
That's unbelievable. The movie starts with white
everything
text.
that ever was and ever will be started as a dream.
And I was like, cool, that's going to be like Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It's Lava Girl. She says that later.
It could have said Lava Girl, fast forward 46 minutes.
Lava Girl, 1 hour and 3 minutes from now.
So good. And that really, I think that sort of self-referential meta humor
Was it?
really kicks off this movie in the right direction.
Was it, or is it a bit of an Ouroboros, the dragon mythologically
Consuming its tail.
eating its own tail, stuck
It
in a
might be
cycle of
both.
self-destruction?
How old were you when this came out?
Oh man, what year did it come out? 2005? Is that
Yes.
right? Yeah, I would have been
2005.
I would have been like 10. So like I said,
Yeah.
it was at the tail
like 10
end
or
of me
11.
being
So does it have
interested
a
in this.
nostalgia to you?
No.
So here's what's interesting to me as I was watching it, because I do try and put myself, like I'm saying, okay, the first time I'm seeing this is when I'm 30.
Yeah.
And I realized there are some pretty crazy movies that were for kids that are nostalgic to me that I can go back and be like, okay, I still love this.
Yeah.
Do you
no,
think
I don't
kids
have
know
that.
better if it's a bad movie?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah. And I,
What
and
are
I
bad
do think
movies
I
you remember seeing as a kid?
Stuart Little. 1
Yeah,
and
Stuart
2.
Little's bad.
Okay.
Any Spy Kids after the first one.
Yep.
I think that there were, so the early 2000s were kind of this weird thing, right?
Right.
Because I feel like 90s kids movies, because there was maybe less restriction on what was for kids, it appealed to adults a little more.
Right.
Because 90s kids movies, I think you got stuff like that's like,
I mean, you got The Sandlot and the Goofy movie.
I was about to
and
say,
all
like,
that
that's
kind of stuff.
closer. That's like way closer on the spectrum to like Goonies and E.T. than
Yeah,
this is.
like Fern Gully,
Yeah.
like that kind of
These
stuff.
are- yeah,
Like,
these
there's
are
a cool
all things that I
story,
was
cool
thinking of.
animation. And then more recently, I feel like there's been this trend of like kids movies are kind of just movies for adults where the jokes are hidden deep enough to where kids can't understand them.
Or maybe we're just noticing that because we're adults now watching them for the first time.
I
Maybe
remember.
that could be
I
it.
distinctly remember how disappointed I was in Barnyard, though. So
Yeah, Barnyard
that
is
goes
a
to
perfect
six.
example.
The
but
great example of
the
like
mid 2000s was this weird time. I feel like where kids movies were either great or terrible.
for
Yeah.
every Monsters Incorporated, there's a Sharkboy and Lavagirl.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Did
there was
Monsters
like
Inc. come out the same
Monsters
year?
Inc. came out in 2004, the year
So
before.
you were
Oh
four.
my
I know.
word.
Yeah.
Well, and then like what was there's some alien movie that I'm thinking
Monsters
of.
vs. Aliens?
Maybe that was it. I
Mars
don't
Needs
know.
Moms.
Something.
Oh.
But you know what I mean? Like it felt like a sort of throw it at the wall, see what sticks era. And
Yeah.
this is a byproduct of that to me, which is just like, yeah, it's colorful and it's got some green screen. Kids will love it. And I don't think
Yeah.
anybody did. Like seriously, I remember liking it well enough when I watched it. And I remember the song being stuck in my head for a very long time.
Right.
What song?
The the one.
Which one?
Taylor's
Oh yeah,
Taylor's song. Taylor's song.
Taylor's
But
song is the Slam of Screen Doors.
I do remember walking away and being like, that. I mean,
That was
whatever.
Barb.
It It's not so much that I knew it was bad as it didn't leave much of an impression.
What's so funny for me is I feel like, and I don't know why this happened. It was an era a little bit before me, but some of my nostalgic movies that felt the most like this, that I still ended up loving more than this, were like Neverending Story.
Yeah.
That kind of vibe.
Yeah.
That was just way out there, or like Labyrinth
Yeah.
with David Bowie
Yeah.
and things like that. But even going back and watching those, am I only really enjoying that because it was in a time of my life
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think
there's
so
some
either.
fun to it.
Yeah.
Like, there's some whimsy to it that is still enjoyable, whereas with
Right.
Sharkboy and Lavagirl, it's just goofy and not the fun kind. So let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So
we open with our great inspirational quote from Lava Girl. Lava Girl has a dream.
we get a Max voiceover talking about the origin of Sharkboy. The sharks came up and talked, and Callie goes, "No."
Okay.
I think that's supposed to be Kitty, right? It's like,
Okay.
that's what I was having a trouble. I think there's more to the execution than I used to give credit for. Like, you have to be able to. I was thinking of Elf when the narwhal comes up and he's like, "Hope you find your dad." Like, that's supposed to be funny,
Right, that's
and it's
played
not
as a
talking
joke.
like. But I think this was supposed to kind of be a joke too. I really do.
I don't know.
I think that's
just
why it failed,
delivered
is that it
so
wasn't
poorly.
supposed to be a joke.
So in Max's voiceover, when he says Sharkboy was adopted by the sharks, he grew gills. He says this line, and he grew fins. All kinds of fins.
Yeah, that was
What does that
terrifying.
mean?
I
He just has
vividly
one
remember that
dorsal
line.
fin.
Does he have crotch fins? Okay, is that what just happened to this kid?
All kinds of
All
fins.
kinds of
And
fins.
I just want to address, why on earth were there 2 life rafts?
I want to address this. If you want Sharkboy and his dad to be separated, there was an explosion and Sharkboy fell into a vat of shark acid and became a shark boy. He didn't just spontaneously grow gills and all kinds of fins by being
kinds of
underwater sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
But do his gills work? Because later in the movie, Lava Girl says he can only hold his breath so long. Dude's got gills. He can breathe the water.
Yeah.
That's air to him.
And that's what's tough. So, like, before we get too
Why did
far,
he keep him in the shower?
before we get too far,
Because he would drown.
Wait,
or
wait.
he doesn't need it. I don't understand.
wait, before we get too far into just bashing like continuity and different things like that, and just things that don't make sense. First of all, it's a dream. It's Robert Rodriguez's son, Racer, who wrote it at 7 years
Who
old.
plays young Sharkboy.
So I'm putting myself.
Wait. Pause everything. Explain all that you just said.
The director,
Robert Rodriguez.
his son, Racer.
Racer Rodriguez.
Wrote
Racer
this.
Rodriguez.
Yeah,
He wrote this.
Yes.
Yes.
He has a writing credit on this movie.
he made this for his son because his son wrote this.
That changes my entire opinion of this movie.
See, and that's what's so tough too. Like,
No.
No. Wait.
You don't have to release it to everybody, though, is the thing.
no, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like I'm going back to my Sandlot or my. I need to find something a little more fantastical, like my Never-Ending Story. Like, there's going to be
That's
some
a good one
things.
because that movie's pretty bizarre.
It's pretty bizarre, but is it something? I don't know. I mean, yes, this is the internal monologue that we have when we watch movies like this. Like, that doesn't make sense, but it's a dream world. Like, when are we supposed to? Like, what's the line of being like, they really need to?
I will say this. I will say this until I'm blue in the face about everything. The line is, you can do whatever you want in any movie you want as long as you follow the rules.
Yeah.
If you make rules, you better follow it until the movie's done.
I bet I can find a movie that follows no rules and you love it.
If it doesn't establish rules, then I would.
Okay. I get
But
that.
if you establish a rule, if there's no rules, there's no rules. And I'm down with that. But if you establish a rule, if you make your character grow gills, he better need those gills.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Those gills better work, or else why did you have him grow gills?
I feel
get that his 7-year-old wrote it, but you're an adult, Robert.
It's Chekhov's gills. If you introduce gills in the first act, you got to breathe with them in the third.
That's my
That's
thing.
funny.
Like,
Yeah,
Robert
yeah.
is a full-grown man, and he can be like, I love your dream. Everything but the gills. Let's get rid of the gills. He doesn't need them. Or let's
Yeah.
make him really need those gills.
Yeah.
Put a helmet on him.
One of my favorite things that we did in our final episode of the Twilight series was we did a plot check,
Yeah.
right? So what I would like to do for this one is let's find out how they spent this money.
A money check.
This was $50 million to make.
I know.
In
I know how they did it.
2005. Because 3D was so expensive?
It's because everything that appears on the screen that is not in his house or at the school is digital.
Does digital cost that much?
Yes.
Even walking to the school is a green screen.
Yeah.
Like There is
So that's where all the money is?
Yes,
all the money
100%.
went to green screen.
I just didn't know how much that cost.
It's
okay.
crazy.
A
Well, and they had to
lot.
buy a whole bunch of PS2s to render all of the Dream World stuff. So that was crazy too.
Oh my gosh. It really, I mean, you look at movies like Monsters, Inc.
Came
and
out a year before. Yeah.
the things that computers are doing at that time, and you can really see how much of a step backwards.
Would you think Monsters, Inc. cost more to make than this movie?
Probably.
Probably.
Okay. Well. Also, this movie was made so fast. Rodriguez made it so fast that it was done and ready to put in theaters before the advertising had gone out.
I believe
before,
that fully.
Yeah. I'll buy that. 100%.
It was made right here in our backyards, right here in the great state of Texas.
Austin.
Thank goodness.
Wait, was it really?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. And I guess it's set in Austin too. Huh?
Yeah.
So we've dodged it for a while. We get this Max voiceover where he talks about, here's the origins of Sharkboy. And at the end of that, he says, oh, yeah, and Lavagirl too.
Yeah. Also, Lava Girl, by the way.
Yeah. I would have loved to hear more about her origin.
There is this whole element of her where she's like, tell me I'm not made to just destroy things. That seemed to come up out of nowhere. Did you guys track that? Like, I honestly
it did, but
she was just self-conscious because he didn't dream her an origin story. Sharkboy got dreamed one. She didn't get dreamed one.
But why is her default then to be like, I must have been made to destroy something? Tell me I'm capable of more than just destroying.
Because she destroys everything she touches.
yeah, that was 115 mil for Monsters, Inc. So you are right. It costs many money.
I know things.
I don't know. It fits her wanting to know her origins. Of course, she thinks she is only meant to destroy, and maybe that's evil because everything she touches just.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know. There were parts of it that could have been interesting. I thought.
So I have a question.
No comment.
Is Linus, who we meet in school,
Minus.
is Linus the quintessential bully? Does he have it all?
No.
Does he have it all?
Because Sid has it all, and Linus isn't Sid. He's close, but he's not Sid.
So
Toy Story Sid.
what is Linus lacking? 'Cause he's got the physical prowess.
What is-
He's a beefy boy.
And he's got
Linus
them
minus.
squinty eyes too.
He's
Of
got the squinty eyes
and the
Squinty
bad
eyes
He's
with
smile.
pale with the dark buzz cut.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
gotta have that. Oh, it's not a buzz cut because he faux hucks it later.
Are we landing that Sid is the quintessential bully? I'm fully prepared to agree with that. I think that's a great
I
assessment.
really do.
Yeah.
He's one of them, I would say.
He's the bully.
He's up there, and then the
Biff.
guy from
Biff, yeah.
Biff to me is the quintessential bully.
Christmas Story,
Oh, the
Oh,
redheaded
yeah,
kid.
the redheaded kid. He's
a
a
good
one,
bully.
He's a really good
So
bully.
where does Linus rank in our cinematic bully scale?
He's got to be up there, right? I mean, he is diametrically opposed.
if it's to a 10, it's like an 8.5 or a 9.
Yeah,
he's a
scary
good
boy.
bully.
He's a good bully.
I mean, he hunts down Max in that playground.
So he takes
He does.
Max's dream journal.
He does. Max has a dream journal, and Linus is like, "Give me that," and he doesn't want that to happen. So we get. I'm trying to put this delicately. Within the first 12 minutes of this movie, we get testicular humor.
Yeah. That's a little
Felt
weird.
weird. Felt out of place.
A little weird. Yeah.
It's just, and how he stayed up there in that net, and it's like, dog, you don't have to do that.
He gets smacked around the nunchuck.
Yeah. He's just like, oh,
Yeah. It's weird.
like for
and
so long.
the world is like,
Yeah.
So let's talk about the dream world.
I'll bring this back to you tomorrow.
We've got to get to the dream world where the stuff that happens in the real world doesn't super matter.
So here's
right?
the thing. I think it does. I think it was intended to really matter. And
It's
I
like Wizard
think
of Oz type stuff, isn't it?
kind of, yeah. And I think that's sort of the heartbreak to me of watching this movie actually is like I think there's a really cool concept in here. And I think that the concept is that Max is using his dreams to escape the fact that his family is breaking.
Yes. And here we are. That's my super dump.
Yeah.
That's what I was intending to lead into by saying the real world doesn't matter because
Yeah.
it should.
It should, yeah.
Like he should dream of a kingdom, and he's trying to make sure that the king and the queen don't split and make two kingdoms.
Right.
Like this whole thing should be centered around his family breaking apart. We don't need the stuff with the origin story. Like if he's adopted or if he's an orphan, yeah, he didn't dream Lavagirl an origin story, but like there's some sort of thematic stuff that we should be tying together to make this really feel like it's one thing rather than two stories.
And I think it could have been really cool because I mean, when he first walks inside and like his parents are fighting and he's like, my parents were too busy to notice. I was like, that's kind of sad.
yeah.
And then it just doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
And it could have been cool. That was almost my super dump. I agree with you.
It is like, and because I've seen stuff too, of course, this came out after Sharkboy and Lavagirl, so you couldn't have made the connection in the
Shark
moment.
Tale's another bad one that came out around that time.
Yeah.
But the concept of Inside Out, the Pixar movie, is completely built around a girl trying to get over that she's moving.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? And so we kind of almost have even though they can say you're
so good.
that your mind is the real world, right? It's obviously animated and it's a total, really creative look at what's inside a little kid's head. But
that's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to carbon copy that way. But if that's what the theme is going to be, it can't jump around this much.
Right.
I think he gave his son too many liberties in terms of, I think it was just, hey, I'm just going to do this for you, whatever you want.
Yeah.
And so
That's
that's
what
where
I'm saying. Robert's an adult. He should be able to override a 7-year-old.
Did he have spare Spy Kids money? Just like
probably? Yeah. That like whole Spy Kids era was. I mean,
it was wild.
Yeah.
We're leading into my super dump. What this movie and the process in which it was made and its just complete production is, to me, this is the pink ribbon of kids' movies. One of the biggest knocks on the millennial generation is that we were told you can do whatever you want.
Okay.
You can make whatever you want. Everybody gets a trophy.
Okay.
You'd walk in your friend's room and they look like a decorated athlete, but it's all these short trophies just because they were there.
Right.
To which I would say, who gave us the trophies? But that's another discussion for another time.
No, it's for right now.
It is for
the
right now.
father
I
is
see where you're
Robert
going.
Rodriguez.
Yeah.
And he just gave his son this platform. And he said, you do what you want. And
So we
it's
could
just
blame
not,
a 7-year-old, but he's
Right.
a 7-year-old.
Right.
Yep.
He
Robert
was given
Rodriguez,
all of this.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Robert, you're the big boy.
And that's my super dump, is
Yeah.
that it was just I'm successful. I want my son to be able to do something. Go for it.
Yeah.
It is the Will and Jaden Smith After Earth project of like,
That's
hey,
good.
I'm the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and you're the Fresh Prince's son. So you get this whole
You're
movie,
the
bud.
fresh,
The Fresca Prince.
the Fresca Prince.
Yeah. I feel like, but there's some good stuff out there though, because I feel like there's been maybe children of famous people, but the famous, like the parents are still producing well, kind of making sure to make edits to make it something that would, because if the ultimate goal is for this to reach kids, which we've already decided it didn't, because kids know what's a bad movie, then if that's, it was so selfish to me. The making of this movie was only about his son. It was not
100%.
about what the platform could have done for other kids his son's age.
100%. I
Super
completely
dumb.
agree.
It's the pink ribbon of movies.
Yeah. I think I agree
Didn't
with
like
that.
it.
I think I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's not a lot, sometimes with these kids movies, there's the moments where you're like, yeah, but, it's for kids.
Right.
And I think you're right. I think I would argue that it's for kids by kids is not helpful.
Yeah, not at all.
Because it's really for kid.
It is for kid.
It is a kid movie.
Yeah.
It's
Not a
for
kid's
one
movie.
kid.
That's good. Yeah.
That's great.
For Racer.
Yeah.
Racer Rodriguez also super sounds like a cartoon character.
Sounds like he's going to grow up to be Biff.
Yeah. Fair enough. Let's get into some of the specifics of what happens in Dreamworld then on Planet Drool.
Yeah,
There's some good stuff.
At first, I thought it was going to be symbolic, but really, it is just sort of pulled things that happened earlier in the movie.
Yeah.
Such as, gosh, we haven't even talked about George Lopez. Hold on.
Electricidad.
George Lopez is in this movie.
And his name is Mr. Electricidad.
Why? I mean, I know why, but come on.
This is gift wrapped. It's like, just call him Mr. Bolt.
Yeah.
Or just anything else.
Yep.
Mr. Static.
Yeah.
Like
Mr. Zap.
Mr. Zap.
Do you guys think he was excited to be in this movie?
No.
Probably not, but here's what's fun.
I bet.
So this role that was written by Robert Rodriguez and his son Racer was with George Lopez in mind.
Yeah, I did see that.
What? He's their first choice?
Part of me wonders if they.
He was a big deal in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I remember, but really?
Yeah, dude.
I mean, whatever. George Lopez, he doesn't bother me just by existing. He's fine as a person, I guess. I don't think he's that funny, but
I think he's funny.
I can't imagine writing a part with him in mind.
I was just about to say, I can't imagine him being my first choice for almost anything.
Right. Yeah,
but
that's tough.
so we get to Dreamworld, right?
Planet Drool.
Planet Drool, which I think is very funny, actually. Named after the fact that you drool while you're asleep. I think that's great.
I dig it. They had some good connections.
Yeah. And we get there, and basically it's just off to the races, huh?
Yeah. Just kind of no real reason, just running from scene to scene.
And I want to... So Sharkboy's costume and Lavagirl's costume is pretty clearly just like a Lycra bodysuit with some like rubber pieces on. I mean, it's like the worst cosplay of...
Yeah.
It would have been more appropriate. I mean, Lavagirl's was a little bit more appropriate than Sharkboy
because
it was kind of cool to see that there might be lava running through her.
Honestly, how cool would it be though to put together a real intense, awesome Sharkboy costume?
Yeah, it would be super cool.
It would have been awesome.
But his like rubber bendy dorsal fin is hilarious to me, and his like abs that are on the suit are hilarious to me. It's just so weird. But the most offensive thing to me, besides his spiky hair, are his disappearing and reappearing shark teeth.
Yeah, maybe it was like it's too hard to deliver his lines.
They're just contextual shark teeth.
Yeah.
Those are the most confusing thing to me, his teeth, but not the bottom ones. Are those top ones his real teeth?
Yes, he has ginormous
Dude's got some
teeth.
enormous chompers.
Yeah,
he does.
He
have
really
some
grew
enormous
into those
chompers.
boys later on. But those are nuts. Yeah, but
do you think that he was shredded at this point in his life?
I think he was probably kid shredded. Yeah.
I mean, with
everybody went to elementary school with one shredded kid.
Yeah, that's true.
the stuff he was doing I was impressed.
He did some real flips.
Are you gonna make me do it?
Do it.
My super pump is Taylor Lautner.
Okay.
I loved every single second that he was on screen in this.
So
he is a bad actor. He was perfect for this role.
Dude, I will tell you that I think, and I'm not trying to just slight him, and I can promise you I will try to slight him for the rest of the episode. But right now, I haven't seen Run the Tide yet, but I have seen Abduction and almost everything else he's in. This seems like his best performance. Maybe in that statement, it is slighting him because he didn't have as much of an excuse yet.
Yeah.
But I think this was the most I've enjoyed him.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like how Dan Radcliffe was super charming and sweet as Harry Potter,
right?
In like 1, 2,
and that was
really
so
1
tough.
And 2.
Yeah, that series was fun because we got to unpack like you kind of lock yourself in.
Yeah,
if you're doing a child actor, knowing that you're going to do this for about 8 or 9 years.
Imagine if there had been like 18 more years of these Sharkboy movies, though.
If only. If only.
If only.
So,
but yeah, so like I loved that they were like, "Hey Taylor, you're an incredible athlete. Do all your flips. Do your music." Like he has
that's how he got the role.
Part where he does musical weapons. He's got that bow staff, and like that's a musical weapon.
He choreographed
a
lot of that himself. Actually,
that's the thing. We can't sleep on Taylor. Yeah. He's a bad actor. He's a phenomenal athlete.
He is.
He does the kicks.
He is certainly a phenomenal athlete.
He's really like sweet and cute in this.
No, don't say that. He's a douche.
No,
but,
he's kind of mean in this.
He is a very mean person in this movie.
Cuter side to him.
But I will say this. It is time for shout announcements. Shout announcements, the time where we do shout announcements.
Yeah.
So the first shout outs that we have here in shout announcements are, of course, for Wax Space and Tyler Station. We in you. Thank you for letting us come in and do our stuff here. We drink your coffee, we record in your space, and we appreciate it very much. If you have work to do and don't have a place to do it, come on down. Also want to give a shout out to Podbean. We pay you money. We put stuff on you. Podbean.
I want to give some shout outs to people who've interacted with us on Instagram lately. That goes to Will Rays and Amber Brown. Thanks to both of you guys. And a very special shout out this week goes to Mr. Bruno Mars.
Love you, Bruno.
Because our podcast recently passed 24K total downloads.
24 karat magic
in the air.
So the two of you have been here from the start.
Yeah,
right?
that's
I'll
true.
never have that, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But in those moments, did you imagine a podcast that would at least get to the point of almost 25,000
Not
downloads?
even close.
This is crazy. And I'm saying, because I jumped in last summer.
Yeah.
Whoa. Like I didn't, this is noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is so cool.
Yes.
I'm not grouchy about it.
No, not at all.
You could say I'm not in a bad mood.
I want to shout out Caroline.
Caroline. ba, ba, ba.
You have
Sort of two different
famous
directions
songs.
on that
Shout out for having really famous songs, Caroline. She sent me a really sweet, encouraging text. She has really liked the vibe of our setup. Our three guys hosting, talking about movies, having a fun time. And so she's all caught up on our episodes, which shout out.
Should
that.
be.
Like, thank you so much, as everyone
thanks.
should. And so she just had some more time and was like, I want kind of the same vibe. And so there was a recommended podcast under ours because it was similar.
That we won't name.
We won't name them because she didn't have very nice things to say about them, and I might agree. But it was really encouraging to hear from her that our chemistry, the product, just how well produced it is, which shout out Adam.
Yeah, shout out for real.
I call a sound wizard.
Yes.
And just, it's just a little more lighthearted. And she said, this is our podcast. It's just way better. And I was like, wow, this means a lot.
Thanks, Caroline.
and we're not being braggadocious here, I don't think. More so, we're just saying, like, we kind of can't believe that we are able to, like, do this.
Yeah.
Is kind of where I'm landing on it, is like, it sort of just feels like the stars really aligned when making
And they
this.
were born.
And they were born, yeah.
Yeah. And if you're listening right now and you hear us celebrating 24K, like, it doesn't mean that we're halfway to not doing this anymore. It's not like we were like, once we reach 50, I think that's enough. We've accomplished it. Let's move on.
No way.
It
51
really is.
for me.
I have to reiterate, foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I even think it might have been maybe recording one with the three of us that it just felt so natural. I mean, you're going to get a close to hour-long episode that probably takes an hour and 10 minutes of recording time. So what you're hearing, like with the flow, is that right, Adam? Is it like an hour and 10 minutes? How much is it usually?
It's usually about 5 hours per 1 hour of content.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So
Because I come in and
That's
record
not
all
true.
my lines, and then Jordan comes in and
Yeah.
records all his. You come record all yours, and then we lay them
it's tough
together
to be
in
the
post.
last one. That's why I'm so off all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all that to say, we love it. We're not going to stop, but just keep supporting us. So also supporting us means, like, if you subscribe,
Please.
Yeah,
please,
subscribe
please,
is such
please,
a huge thing because it is going to download a lot more of those episodes, and that helps just grow the podcast.
Big time.
Like, literally, the numbers are there. That's the hard count. And so if you can do that, if you can rate it and then review it, you don't have to rate it as soon as you subscribe it. We'd actually like to have your genuine opinion on this. Yeah. But yeah, we're shooting for that, trying to become the possibility of becoming Rotten Tomatoes critics, because that gives us a head of steam to do a lot more for you guys. So
Yeah, an iTunes review would be huge
yes,
for us.
iTunes.
Huge for us.
I just put a pop-up thing on the website that'll take you right to iTunes to review us if you visit the website. So a great way to do that, to get there, is to go to twochunksandahunk.com. There'll be a little pop-up that says, do you like Two Chunks and a Hunk? Prove it by leaving us a review.
Love
and
it.
a link that'll take you to our show on iTunes. So
Love it.
Very
hit,
nice.
hit us up with that.
And then also click that little Instagram button on there too. That's worth a follow.
Check it out. Check the social
We
media.
got that on Twitter.
Yeah.
Social media.
We're those
Social medias.
those cool millennial guys of the podcast. We're on all
You've
your
heard
digital
about us.
platforms.
You've heard about us. And that was a shouting out. We're back, and something that I want to talk about is the names of some of these places.
Okay.
Specifically, Train of Thought,
Yeah.
Brainstorm, when he like calls on his power of brainstorm, like all that kind of stuff.
Stream of consciousness.
Stream of consciousness.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, this is my super pump.
Oh, cool.
I think that is so fun.
It's fun.
Like, I was like waiting for them to say more fun stuff, and they didn't. But those were enough for me to be like, hey, that's really cool.
That's the kind of stuff Inside Out was full of.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I love that.
Yeah, it's great.
So I was a huge fan of like every time it was like, how do we keep my train of thought on track? There is no track. Like, as dumb as that was, it was awesome.
Yeah.
So speaking of Inside Out, is Tor what's his
Tobor.
name? Tobor?
It's robot backwards.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Is Tobor, is he Bing Bong?
No, he's George Lopez.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Was Bing Bong actually something in the real world though? Because Tobor
Bing
was
Bong
a robot.
an imaginary friend.
Right. So
So Sharkboy and Lavagirl would be Bing Bong.
yeah.
But are they imaginary? That's
Yes.
the big twist that we get to at the end of this movie.
Oh gosh.
Anyway.
How does a box of loose parts never put together fall apart? Because that is what we get starting in the second half of this movie.
Yep.
Like, It's not even like it was like, oh, we were building such a wonderful Lego model. No, it was none of it was put together, and yet it still falls into smaller pieces.
Well, it's like we got new Legos and we dumped them on the floor, and then halfway through we're like, bet you thought we were going to put these together. Here's another box. We're dumping that out
We're
too.
dumping more. And before we get to that point, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to do it right now because my super dump is right dead smack in the middle of this movie.
Okay.
And it's Taylor Lautner's musical scene.
Are you kidding me? I love
That's your
that.
super dump?
I laughed so hard, but
I loved it.
It made me physically uncomfortable.
He is so aggressively and ruthlessly auto-tuned.
I know. Dream, 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 dream. Like, it's so weird.
I just thought he was that talented.
It's unbelievable.
Hated
I
this
loved it
part.
because that's a side of him we've never seen.
It doesn't. That's not
Singing,
a good thing
dancing, smiling at the
necessarily.
camera. Hey, listen.
New bad stuff happens all the time. That is not necessarily a good thing.
That's funny. That's the new tag for thanks a lot. New bad stuff happens all the time.
We can't just be like, that's a new side of Taylor. It doesn't mean it's a good side of Taylor. And I hated it. And he somehow still managed to sound like the villain of this movie while he was singing his song.
It's
And
just showing
so
like
weird.
Sharkboy. I think what was supposed to happen is we were supposed to just realize he was kind of a grumpy. Like Sharkboy was never going to be genuinely nice.
He's like a Waldorf and he's both of the angry old Muppets.
Oh yeah.
While we're talking about music, I did notice something very interesting in this movie. And the number of people that this particular segment of our show is going to appeal to is very small.
Yes.
But here we go.
Narrowcast.
So I videoed the screen during a portion of this film, and I want you guys to listen to what the cellos are playing here. And I'll edit this in and bring it in post. But check this out. See if you guys can.
Transportation out of here. My dreams. Lavagirl!
You guys hear that?
Yeah.
You got that melody in? Let's listen to it one more time. We're gonna
Sounds
listen
like
to it.
Star Wars.
We're gonna listen to it one more time. Check out this melody.
Transportation out of here. My dreams. Lavagirl!
That sounds so much like Star Wars.
So that melody
Maybe it's not.
is exactly Marion Ravenwood's theme from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, so
That's funny.
It sounded like it's Williams.
Yeah, it's John Williams. So I'll play that theme right now. I'm trying to get it to load for you guys.
I
but
knew it was something.
There's
in
another
that
part
thing.
of this movie where the song that plays is literally Joy to the World.
So check this out. Here is Marion's theme from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Whoa, that's the same.
It is exactly the same melody in a different key, but faster, but exactly the same melody.
Did anybody talk about this on the web?
No, I can't find anybody talking about this.
What on earth?
This may be a
How
Doge
special to
original.
have you on the podcast.
Are we breaking this story right
I
now?
think we're the first to report this to
That's-
you. But that's a theme that repeats often, and I can't tell if it's the Lava Girl theme or if it's the Dream Journal theme. But that is exactly the same melody as Marion's theme from Raiders.
Weird. Yeah, Joy to the World plays at one point. It's just the beginning part. They're like coming down from doing something, and it's like bang 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 bang. But like it
Yep.
goes on. But I was like, is this a Christmas movie now?
The music is interesting.
Yep. I'd say so. Dream, 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 dream.
Like they just keep using like other.
It's like you're about to sing the Zelda theme.
Dream, 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 dream. Just over. Oh my goodness.
Well,
Yeah.
that concludes the musical portion of this show.
Oh, and the musical portion of this movie. I hated it. Oh man, it was so awful. And they go off. They try to go off on the shark bike, but nay. Forgot to dream gas.
So this movie gets a check mark in the question, does Taylor have a motorcycle in it? The answer is yes.
That's
That means
good.
Taylor's had a motorcycle in every movie we've seen him in thus
That
far.
is good. I love that.
So Taylor has a motorcycle in this and in all 4 Twilights.
5 Twilights.
5 Twilights. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there are a lot of Twilights. All 5 Twilights. So that's good. Let's keep a motorcycle count. I'm
Yeah.
into that. So but they get on the banana split raft and the cherry is the rudder, and I love that.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a pump
really fun.
from me. The way the chocolate looks when they step on the cookie earlier, I hated it.
Oh, no way. That's a pump for me. It looks like brownie batter.
It's gross.
I would eat it.
It looks nasty.
I was trying to find something with Sharkboy and Lavagirl and Indiana Jones to see if anyone else discovered this. I didn't, but I did find a Metacritic review that compares the two movies.
What?
Wow.
The Adventures of Sharkboy and Lavagirl and Indiana Jones.
What the heck?
I would pay to see current day Taylor Lautner, current day Lavagirl, and current day Harrison Ford in Sharkboy and Lavagirl 2. Just all grouching their way
like
through.
a gritty, hard R sequel?
Like Logan style.
Yeah.
Where it's like Sharkboy has to deal with the fact that he was like something super gritty. I would be really into that conceptually.
I can watch that. I can watch that for sure.
So funny.
All right. So they're floating down that river.
Yeah,
they
go down
see
the
the
river.
Cookie Giants. And here's a big missed opportunity.
Wait, Cookie Giants are when they're on the cookie, though, not when they're on the raft, right?
Oh, those are two different things.
Two different rivers.
Two different dessert rivers.
Yeah. The Cookie Giants are his parents, and they're like, I want to eat the cookie. And they're like, nah, we love each other.
Yeah.
Which is cool, I guess. If that's what you're into.
Cool. Your parents love each other? Cool.
Ew.
Oh, it's so good. So we end up at the giant tall bed, and in the giant tall bed, our mystery villain. Is that much of a mystery to anybody?
No.
Our mystery villain is revealed to be Linus, who is now Minus. He has the dream journal, and he's in control of what's he going by in the dream world? Mr. Electric?
Yeah.
Mr. Electricity?
Which is just the English version of
Right.
Mr. Electricity.
It's Mr. Electric, yeah.
I gotta say, as the Mr. Electricity, whatever villain, I thought George Lopez was pretty funny.
No. You are wrong.
No,
I give him a 5 on the funny scale.
Yeah, I think he had a couple moments that
Out of
I chuckled.
100 or what?
I think his what's up? I laughed pretty good at that.
Oh, man, that made me so angry.
Man, I'm realizing you and I got different reads on a couple different parts of this movie. But we're up on the bed and they get captured.
Yeah.
Electric eels come back. That's always cool. Lava Girl is frozen, which again, follow your rules because she shouldn't be able to be frozen.
That happen to a lava person?
Yeah, she shouldn't be able to be frozen. Same with oh gosh, we haven't even talked about sleepwalking across the bridge yet.
We haven't even talked about George Lopez's daughter.
Oh yeah, she's in Gossip Girl. No, Pretty Little Liars.
Because technically a spray tan makes you Hispanic?
Is that what that's supposed to be?
Yes.
Oh no.
Here's the thing. She's a white girl painted orange so that her dad can be George Lopez.
Do you really think that's what it is? Can
I
we go
can't
out and
figure
say
that
that?
out.
I am 100% willing to say that's what they were going for in
George
this movie.
Lopez's character might just have a white daughter. That's always a possibility.
That can happen.
But then why was she orange?
Yeah, that's the part that makes me nervous.
In the midst of our shock and
I don't
awe,
like that.
I'd like to piggyback off of the shock and read to you the review that I found that has the comparison. He gave it a 10.
Yeah.
This person, it's not really a critic. It's definitely someone who doesn't know what they're talking about. So on May 10th of 2009.
Okay, before you start this.
Okay.
Raiders is my number one favorite movie.
Really? That's your number one?
Yeah.
I do love that
This
series.
is going to be very frustrating for me.
We should do Indiana Jones.
It's actually
I said that
offensive.
last
It's
week.
actually offensive to everything.
Okay.
I'm
going to be incredibly frustrated.
You're not going to believe this. So Diego R. Yo.
Rodriguez. He has to be.
Okay.
Is that Racer's real name?
Diego.
He did this.
It might be. And here he is now. He's like 12 now, and he wrote this. Yo, this movie is the bomb, dogs.
Oh.
It's like hardcore shiz, is it? For the whole family. Not family, family. It has the hardcore action of movies like Rambo, the drama of Indiana Jones, the suspense of Silence of the Lambs, and the family values of Blue's Clues and Bob the
This
Builder.
dude is kidding.
Yeah.
It's like a Clockwork Orange meets the Da Vinci Code. As this thinking man's epic reveals the flaws within our capitalistic society and the greed of corporate America.
What?
Its searing criticism of the Bush administration shows a world torn by war and corporate chauvinism and challenges traditional concepts of gender relationships and racial issues.
What on earth? Diego R is my hero.
Oh, man.
That's so
Diego,
funny.
Listen.
I take back what I said about you being a Rodriguez.
Yeah.
You don't have to be part of that family. You can come be you can be Diego Runders.
Diego Rozier.
Diego
Realist.
I love you, Diego. That's very funny.
I'm the realist.
So yeah,
man.
problematic spray tans aside, his daughter's the ice queen, but because she sits under an AC vent. That's literally the reason.
Yeah.
It's pretty cute.
Well,
I don't hate that reasoning for being the Ice Queen, but like, she just has no place in this story.
she does not. But they go take her to her. Lava Girl sleepwalks across an ice bridge,
Until she doesn't.
which why is my question?
Because if she's asleep, she's not very hot. That was like the point, I think. Like if she's
I think
sleeping.
that's right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, why?
I don't know. I mean,
And
that's
she
the
fell
most
asleep-
clear thing in the
She
whole
fell
movie. I
asleep
don't
so
know what
instantaneously.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I
apparently
love
can
that-
force herself to sleepwalk in a straight
That's
line.
how like dreams and sleeping work. And this is like, hey, dream. And, okay. And then they go to sleep and dream.
Dream,
Dream better,
dream.
I actually read that the word dream or forms of dreaming occur 188 times in
I
this
read
movie.
that too.
I believe it. There's probably about a 200-word script. So that seems about right.
Yep, that's probably about right. So we're captured by Linus. We're dumped down to the bottom. How do they get to the bottom again?
When they're dumped. Oh, they're
Oh, it puts them in the cage.
They're in the cage. And
then
Sharkboy
Shark Boy
goes,
goes
shark
beast
rage.
mode shark.
When they fall to the bottom is when they completely steal Marion's theme. That's when that moment occurs.
Right.
If
And
you're
then-
if you're watching at home trying to catch up on this good movie while we talk about it.
They sneak back up to steal the dream journal.
Uh-huh.
And then Lava Girl immediately lights it on fire.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
That stinks, doesn't it?
And then she gets mad, passes out, or she goes to sleep. He takes her to the volcano.
Yeah. And she is light.
He is clearly running with a dummy, just by the way.
It said that on the
Like,
trivia too.
Did it really?
Yeah.
She is just like a mannequin.
Yeah. It's really bad.
And his
So-
running is just like,
In this movie,
why couldn't they run that fast the whole time?
I don't know.
in this movie, Taylor runs carrying a girl. That's another check that we need to do. Because he did that a couple of times in Twilight. So
Okay.
Taylor runs carrying a girl in this movie.
And has a motorcycle.
And has a motorcycle.
That's good. That's
Dig
good
it.
to know. Does he eat a sandwich?
His shirt's never off in this though.
His shirt's not off in this, and I don't think he ever eats a sandwich.
Yet. Or is this his skin?
No, we can't. do
No,
that.
he grew gills and all kinds of fins.
All kinds of fins. So they go have the ultimate showdown on top of the bed.
And
And then
duel.
basically it's just like, say, hey, can you stop being mean?
Oh, yeah, I never considered that.
Sounds a lot like Breaking Down Part 2.
Now, one
Yeah.
thing it does. Now, one thing I want to say
They
is
decide war.
we don't war. I do want to say this. The go-to joke in this movie being spitting out something gross at the screen got old after the second time.
Oh, I thought the go-to joke was for Mr. Electric's to say something about electricity.
That happened a lot.
Do you feel it in the air? It's just like everything was electricity.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. But
And his
I'm talking
dogs
about like
that
they,
are outlet heads was kind of creepy.
yeah, I didn't like that. But I loved when the one plugged into the extension cord to go further. That was cool.
That was
Yeah.
pretty funny.
But like just this joke of like burnt cookie, blah, and it's like
It's just all the
and scoots down the
all
screen.
All the 3D
effects.
stuff. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, the 3D. I'm glad that that's gone away.
So
I hate 3D movies.
There's a final twist though, where minus the main villain becomes not the main villain, and Mr. Electricity goes to Earth.
in a tornado and attacks the school, and real George Lopez is there, and he's
And
mad.
Here is what I thought was happening. I thought this was an electric tornado, and like this is like a stress stream. And he wakes up, he's been knocked unconscious by a desk, and then there's this like an electric tornado. Nope, it's actually Mr. Electricity.
Hey, why could George Lopez pick up a desk one-handed?
I don't understand that.
Because I thought, similarly to you, that was going to be the tie-in of like, oh, it wasn't Sharkboy at the beginning, it was George Lopez.
Yeah,
And I thought maybe it was like so windy that the desk didn't weigh anything. But then he
Maybe.
put it down and it was full size. And then Ice Princess actually is the Ice Princess and
And
freezes him to death.
Sharkboy and Lavagirl are real, and they save Max's parents.
Yeah, they save Max's parents. And he goes, never let go. And she goes, I won't. Then she lets go and flies into the tornado. But he is fine standing where he was.
And then she gets brought down by Lavagirl, and then he gets sucked into the tornado. Like it's the same thing happens 2 times in a row.
I mean, come on.
This
and,
is where it really, 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 really falls apart
Yeah,
for me.
Sharkboy and Lavagirl don't actually do anything, though. It's
Nope.
just the Ice Princess that does
Nope.
something.
And you know how cool it is that Sharkboy and Lavagirl can fly?
Yeah,
Because they just fly.
It's a great point. It's a great
That's
point.
a new thing.
But
New bad stuff happens all the time.
That's true. I was still expecting, even at the end of this, for him to wake up in his bed the next day and be like, "Oh, okay, it was all just a dream." Nope, actually happened.
It's a
really
real thing,
happened
actually
for
happened.
real.
Yep.
Nobody's freaking out about it. Everybody's cool. They're back at school the next day.
Yeah. Oh, I meant to super pump the dream journal. Like the idea of
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
a kid waking up and because at one point I was like, why is he not familiar with a lot of these? Well,
I forget my dreams all the time.
yeah, I do too. And so I was like, that's cool. And
It's
I loved
great.
all these little pictures that weren't always in the line. Sometimes they were
Yeah.
facing a different way. So
Yeah.
the execution of the dream journal and the idea of it was my super
That's a
pump.
cool
And
idea.
I actually want to say, I love the idea of his power being daydreaming. Like he doesn't have to fall asleep to come up with cool ideas. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's actually
Cool.
really cool. In
Yeah.
a dream world, somebody with a vivid imagination during the day would be king. Like,
Well, you know what probably happened is Racer had legitimately some of these ideas. His dad thought that he was some kind of
genius.
genius
Yeah.
and said, actually, everything you do is probably going to turn into gold. So
Which
let's
is
just
so
do it.
funny because, like, what kid, and maybe I'm way off base here, but what kid wasn't like, I'm bike man, I'm part person, part bike, I'm riding
Yeah,
my bike
for
right
real.
now. Like,
Right.
Like,
any
that's the thing
idea-
kids do.
Put boy or man at the end of anything and you're a superhero as a kid.
Yeah.
Like, that's not cool.
Yeah.
Whatever. Racer, idiot.
That's not cool, Racer. What are you, 7?
Yeah, hey, grow up.
Write a good
Why
movie.
don't you try third grade,
Write a
dum-dum?
good movie for once, Racer.
Get him.
Again, I'm only mad at Robert here. He's the adult in the situation. He should have put a stop to this nonsense. But the movie pretty much just ends. Shark Boy's going back to search for his
Thank
dad.
God,
I
you know?
assume in Mariana's Trench.
Yeah, I don't know. And Lavagirl is queen of Earth's volcanoes.
I hated her being like, no, you're not destruction. You're light. It's
Dude,
like, no,
some of-
she's still lava.
Dude, some of the dialogue in this movie is absolutely insane. Like
It's
the way
pretty
the
bad.
characters talk.
Yeah.
It's just like nobody talks like that.
Yeah, well,
I mentioned this to you briefly, but I have brought a guest on the program with me today to help us
interesting.
close it out.
Hey, Taylor.
Hey, Taylor, come on in. No, you leave your shirt off.
Leave your
come
shirt
on in. Come on in. Park your motorcycle at the door.
Hey, guys. I mean, I am hotter than you.
Oh my gosh. No, this is a guest reviewer from deep within the halls of IMDb. And her name is Ines Alba Hidalgo. And on August 28th, 2005, Ines wrote a review. And the title of this review is To Robert Rodriguez. Ines writes,
Why? Is that all it says?
To Robert Rodriguez, like T.O. Robert Rodriguez. Ines writes, Hello, I am Ines. I would like to say that I really enjoyed the film Sharkboy and Lavagirl, and I want to make a question to Robert Rodriguez. Have you
This woman is 90 years old.
any plans to make the second part? I also really likes your Spy Kids series. Have you any plans to make the fourth film of this series? It's a really different approach to cinema, that Sin City.
That's true.
I can't see this kind of film. I hope Robert answered me with the continuation of Spy Kids series and the second part of Lava and Shark. It's not only a film for boys, in my opinion. Thank you and goodbye to everyone who read this words. I hope you likes this film like I really do, and also that you like this kind of films who are similar to Game Boy toys. Ines Alba.
You know? I get it.
Game Boy toys.
Game Boy toys.
So,
I never thought that this was just for boys.
I never did either. That never really crossed my mind.
and I think it's because Ines has been making sure of it every day since August of 2005.
She's been on a big campaign for her grandchildren.
Yeah. But anyway,
Game Boy toys, huh?
now that Ines has reviewed this movie, I think it's probably time for
Maybe our turn.
the three of us to add our voices to that conversation.
Yeah, okay. Well, all right. The three of us here at Two Chunks and a Hunk have perfected the art of rating movies with the scientific cinema scale. You know science. You've heard of him. You took the class.
You know,
With Mr. Electric.
With Mr.
Electricidad.
Oh, sorry. Electricidad.
George Lopez. That is a low rider.
Okay, I was like, there, I got it now. I got it.
Oh, the scale is as follows. The best thing we can ever say about a movie is own it. Don't lend it.
Buy that poster.
The next best thing is just going to be buy it. After that, rent it. And then it's going to be stream it, followed by forget it, and last. But certainly least, God hath forsaken us. I'll go first.
Okay.
Forget it. I think the world is better off
Without
pretending-
Racer Rodriguez. That's just so cruel.
The world is better off if Racer's dream stayed with him and was not broadcast for everyone.
Isn't that the exact opposite of the message of this film?
Yes.
It totally is.
I'll go next. And I would say stream it. This movie is 100% worth a watch. Because of how unbelievable it is.
Okay, I can climb on board with that logic.
Sure.
We need more movies like this Game Boy toy.
Dream.
Genuinely, I think the best tagline for this movie, the best tagline is "New bad stuff happens all the time." Like, it's unbelievable to see something spiral this severely.
Yeah,
Stream it.
it's a forget it for me too, and for a lot of the reasons of why I was calling it like the pink ribbon of movies. And it's fun on our podcast that we get to kind of sometimes take a more serious step outside of like the movie and just look at genres in general and have conversations that might not just come up organically. And the conversation of, do kids know a bad movie when they see it, probably couldn't have happened with anything else but this movie that I can think of. Yeah. So it's a forget it. I don't think it's as necessary.
Oh, Madagascar was not very good.
Yeah, that was
people
another one of
loved
those
that
ones.
one, but I never thought that was
It's
a good
just
one.
not. It was
Over the Hedge. But that one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't there one?
It was a
something
forget
about
it for me.
nuts.
That was Over the
There's a
Hedge.
squirrel one. No, there was one about squirrels.
Oh,
But I think it was
Wasn't
later. I think we were in college maybe when that came out.
What was the one about Little Red Riding Hood?
Oh.
That one was bad too. Hoodwinked.
Yeah,
that one
Hoodwinked.
was really bad.
rough. We've talked about it before on the show. I think probably during Harry Potter. But there's the principle, and I believe it's C.S. Lewis. I may be misquoting him, where he says any story not worth reading, not worth participating in as an adult, any kid's story not worth participating in as an adult was not worth participating in the first place.
Yeah, that's good.
I think that's probably relevant to our discussion.
That's great.
Where it's like, if you can't go back and watch it right now as an adult, you probably shouldn't have watched it as a kid. Like something like The Lion King, I could go back right
Good
now.
Lord.
I'm
Easily.
confident with fresh eyes I could go watch that and go, this is awesome. So then it was worth investing my time and my belief
something
into
like
as a kid.
Batman the Animated Series.
Exactly.
Honestly, I could even jump into Spy Kids 1, no problem right now.
exactly.
Shrek.
Yeah.
You know, those types of movies where it's like,
yeah.
it's still, it holds up for a reason. It's because there was something there binding it together.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. So I would like to close out this episode by each of us creating our own dream character that we would embody and accompany Max on his dream journey. I'm Jordan, and I would be Light Boy, just to sort of throw a wrench in Lava Girl's whole thing at the end.
No, I am.
I'm the light one. Sorry about
Light
that.
Boy.
Sorry about that.
I'm Doge, and my dream character is Camila Zor. I have the power of invisibility, and I can look 2 different directions at one time.
You really did have that one locked down. You had a name and everything.
I'm going to follow the boy theme.
Sure. Yeah, thank you.
Not that this is a movie just for boys.
Yeah, no, it's Game Boy toys.
It's one of those Game Boy toys, for boys and girls.
But I'm going to call myself Pocket Boy. And no, look at me here. So I'm just normal, right? I've got my jeans on, but there happens to be one pocket that's magical. Now it's not like a Mary Poppins pocket, but if there's
that was my
anything
first
that you need to require, like a room of requirement type thing that can fit in my pocket, I'll have it.
I like that.
I've got it right here.
I like that.
We need to buy a bike. That's fine. I've got a credit card with max amount of credit that you need.
so wait, do you have a credit card? You have a bike?
No, it's more about convenience.
I can go buy the bike with the credit card.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you can get anything.
So really, you have your superpower is you've got a credit card. You can
I'm
buy
an adult. I'm adult boy. I get to say that's
boy.
stupid. Don't sleepwalk across that bridge.
I'm man boy.
You might die. I'm 30-year-old boy. It's just Carter in this whole place. I'm like, guys, this is really crazy.
He's like, hey.
Hey man, is your mouth bleeding? You just tore that apart.
Yeah, do gas next time. Oh gosh. Sensible man.
Adult boy.
I'm adult boy, sometimes called man.
Close your eyes, shut your mouth, dream a dream and get us out. Dream, 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 dream. Hit the hay, fast asleep, dream a dream, you little bleep. Dream, 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 dream.